Here's mimicking how you would take the bow off the rack and you would immediately put your bows on toes. Here, just prior to grabbing an arrow, I'm grabbing the bow and I'm pointing to first the guide. Next, I'm going to show you the sight window. That is where you're going to view the target from. I'm grabbing the arrow and I'm going to nock it, and you'll notice before nocking there are, again, two of the same color fletches and one odd color. That odd color is what you will nock outward, pointing outward, and you're nocking the arrow just below the nock locator using your index finger just to stabilize the arrow on the bow. Now you're going to go ahead and use the three fingers of your draw hand, the first knuckle of your index finger, middle finger, and ring finger. As you get more experience, you may choose this position to take your draw hand and place the fingers in the correct position prior to the pre-draw part of the archery steps. This clip is just putting everything together up to the point where we're going to nock our arrow. Here's where you do not want to nock the arrow. You do not want to nock the arrow on the nock locator, nor do you want to nock the arrow above the nock locator. Knocking the arrow above the nock locator will cause the arrow to hit the asphalt, bending the arrow, ruining the tip, and ruining the fletches. This will make your fat teacher very angry. Please do not do that. Do not also nock it too far down. While this looks like it may be okay, what will happen is it will cause you to shoot high. Unfortunately, already this year, we've had someone nock the arrow this low. That is inexcusable. That should not happen. Pay attention and you will be fine. And here, this last part of this clip is just showing you the correct way of grabbing an arrow out of the quiver with your thumb down in the middle of the arrow, nocking the arrow. And this I'm pointing to here is the arrow rest. That is where the arrow is going to rest. It's just like a spring hinge, very delicate. Here is just where you're going to place your bows on toes the correct way. And your feet placement. It is important. It doesn't matter if the bows are facing one way or the other, long as the cam is on your toes. Correct feet placement is one of the first steps of archery. Is you must have your feet shoulder width apart and the target, the foot leading to the target, slightly open. Do not have it pointed like so. Also, do not have it pointing both feet towards the target. Someone has already done this. Don't do that. Very simple. Here, I'm showing you that when you're racking the bow, you must have the cam upward. This has enough clearance between the bowstring and the limb that it can rest on the rack without interfering with the bowstring. If you do it with the idler wheel up, there is no room above it and it will hit the bow rack. Do not ever grab the bow by the bowstrings. Do not ever grab it by the guide, please. Grab it by the limb, preferably by the handle. Here, I'm going to mimic a shooting sequence. You'll grab the bows, and you'll put them on your toes. Again, with the cam on your toes. After one whistle, you will put the bow in the correct position, and you will grab your arrow. First step is going to be stance. Then, nocking your arrow. Remember the fletch, odd color fletch pointing away and stabilizing the arrow. Third, draw hand set. Fourth, bow hand set. Pre-draw. Draw. Anchor. Aim. Shot setup. Release. follow through, and reflect. Now, I am saying to this out loud. You will also need to be saying these steps out loud until I feel comfortable everyone has it. Then, as you get better, you can do it silently. Again, stance, knock arrow, draw hand set, bow hand set, pre-draw, draw, anchor, aim, shot setup, release, follow through, reflect. Now here I'm going to say the steps silently to myself. Stance, knock arrow, draw hand set, bow hand set, pre-draw, draw, anchor, aim, shot setup, release, follow through, and reflect. Now you will have your bows on toes until I tell you to rack the bow. Once you do that, you will come back to the shooting line, and then you will wait for me to tell you to get your arrows. This final clip is demonstrating how you're going to retrieve the arrows from the target after racking your bow. If you are left-handed, you will go ahead and take your right knee, place it up against the target. You will take your right hand and put it flat, and you're going to try to retrieve the first arrow highest closest to you. You will take your left hand and you will twist and pull. Because most people are right-handed, will demonstrate this. Again, you will take your left knee and brace up against the target. You will take your left hand flat, highest closest arrow. You will squeeze your index and thumb, not so much together, but you're closing them together. You're going to take your right hand, you're going to make a fist, you're going to wrap it around the arrow, and you're going to touch your left hand. At the same time, you're going to twist and pull, and you're going to lay it on the ground. Now you're going to grab the next arrow. Keep in mind here that you have two arrows very close together. You cannot grab the arrow towards your hand that is on the target. So you will have to go back further towards the fletches at a point where there is space where you can grab and twist. Do not twist at the end of the arrow. Get as close as you can to the tip. It may be the middle. Same thing here. Now you may have to put your fingers in between two arrows. Maybe your index finger or your forefinger or your ring finger. Again, twist and pull at the same time. Here, you'll see I have to have an arrow between fingers instead of just my index and thumb. Once all the arrows have been retrieved from the target, lay them on the ground. You'll pick them up. You will tap them on top of the target to get them all even. You will take your bottom hand, cover the tips, and you will grab the rest of the other hand with the middle of the arrows, and you'll rack them. This is very easy, guys. This is very easy. This is very fun. This is new for me as it is for you. It's just the second year. Hope you enjoy it. Learn something. Have a lot of fun with it. And again, we will be testing this very shortly. Just do me a favor. Enjoy. Above all, be safe, guys.